Hello, 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 and welcome back to Luminous's Intuitive Talks, where we receive divine messages, advice, warnings, things we would like to hear, and things we would rather not. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. All right, so I wanted to give you guys an update. I will be doing podcasts very soon. I just started my first podcast. So I will leave the link for that in the description for you guys. As always, I can't leave you guys out. Basically, it will be on the same topics and discussions and different advice and stuff. So I will leave that for you guys if you guys are interested in podcasts. Basically, just like this video right here, it's just audio. So that's basically what podcast is. The same thing, is just nothing but audio. Okay. So today I will be sharing chapter 8 with you guys of my book, What's This Mess? More like What's the Message, by Andria Simmons, aka Luminous Me. Okay. So chapter 8 basically will be about discussing how to deal with our emotions. Okay. So chapter 8's name is Controlling Emotions in a More Effective Way. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into that. Also, I'm still doing the candles for you guys, of course. Okay, so if you guys want to get one of those candles and make a purchase, feel free to hit me up on my emails, my Instagram, or the business pages. Either one is fine. It doesn't matter. Just you can hit me up on either one. Okay. And also, if you guys did not see the videos on the candles, introducing the candle and the contents itself, feel free to go back into the videos and check that out. Okay. It will be under the February launch. Each one definitely will have an update of the business itself, which is Luminous's Divine Healings. Okay. So you guys can go ahead and look back on those if you need to. And if you are definitely interested in making the purchases, go ahead and contact me for an inquiry. All right. So let me quit running my mouth and let me go ahead and get into chapter 8. So, like I said, chapter 8 begins controlling emotions in a more effective way. It starts with, when we talk about the word emotions, we immediately think of what? Anger, sadness, anxiety, being overwhelmed, discouragement, and so on. We all have emotions, and we all struggle with dealing with them, some more than others. Having different emotions affect us daily can be tremendously exhausting sometimes. You get to where you want to rip your hair out or rip somebody else's hair out or just completely shut down. The reason why we are so bothered by emotions is because we become attached to them. We hold on to the way we feel until we self-destruct. Being willing to learn how to let go and not be so attached can give us more control over the way we feel and how we actually express them. and how we respond to these emotions. Okay? So, we have to come up with different ways on, not being so attached to how we feel. So, say if someone makes us angry, we can't continue to be attached to that anger, because if you do, you're stressing yourself out. That's why I always talk about forgiveness, because forgiveness is not only allowing that situation to die, but it's also healing for yourself, because you're not holding on to that anger. It takes so much to be mad at somebody than to just let it go. Okay? It really does. And over time, you'll definitely start to see that and feel that weight on you. And once you get to the point to where you can forgive them as well as yourself, that weight will lift off of you. It'll become so much lighter on you. I'm telling you. So, since emotions can get the best of us at times, I want to discuss some great beneficial emotional management skills that can help us with better control. Every emotion has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. The beginning is what happened and how you feel about it, right? The middle is dwelling on the situation and the actual feeling. And the ending is the reaction and solution to the emotion. So basically, trying to figure out how to release that emotion would be your ending, obviously. Okay, figuring out a way to handle and deal with these things. Always remember that whatever the emotion is, it will come to pass, because nothing lasts forever. So if you're the type of person that you feel like you hold on to grudges, trust me, even after a long, long, long time has passed, you're probably not even going to care about it anymore. Unless it was something that led to, trauma, or something that led to just a lot of hurt and regret and remorse behind it. But even still, you have to find a way to move past it, forgive the situation, forgive the person, forgive yourself for dealing with it, and you have to find the strength to move on. You really do. That's just what we have to do sometimes. It's not worth it. It's just not. The past, present, and future play major roles when it comes to emotions. When we are discouraged, angry, sad, or depressed, it is because our memories live in the past off of what happened. So, like I said, we can tend to suppress things sometimes. Even though time has went on, a lot of us will suppress what happened or suppress how we feel, and it may seem like you've healed from it, but in reality, if something triggers that, you're gonna realize you haven't fully healed from it. So we definitely have to work on those things. It's hard, but we got to find the strength to be the bigger person. We got to find the strength to just find our own peace within. So when we are anxious and overwhelmed, it's because our memories are way too focused on the future and what could happen. So, we can tend to overthink a lot. It's like, when you get to a point to where you're overthinking things, it's not always a bad thing, but sometimes it can be, especially if you're dwelling on something that just is just not worth being dwelled upon, okay? But you definitely do have to look deep within stuff. It may be hard to forgive somebody or whatever, but you have to get to a point to where, how they say, forgive, but don't forget how that person did you. Don't forget what happened. Don't forget the feeling it gave you, but also don't hold on to it, because it's not worth it. And all it's doing is continuing to hinder you and hurt you in some way or form. So now when we are happy or feeling good, what is that because of? That's because we're living in the present moment. So we should ask ourselves, where are we really focused? Are we focused in what happened in the past, the present, or the future? Life and people will put us through all these emotions. And yes, at times we are bound to break, but it is okay. So let's think, what is it that made us feel this way? Why do we feel the way we do at that given time? If it is a stressful event or person, let's first start by calming down before approaching this issue. Now, you may think the best result is to go off on this person, to act a fool, to cut up, to, basically hand them their own butts. Or you may feel the urge to just leave it alone and walk away. Now, there are two scenarios with this. Both of those ideas can be good or bad depending on the situation. Now, if you know somebody has been causing some kind of heartbreak or burden in your life, and they are a person to continuously do that, sometimes talking to them and talking it out doesn't work, depending on the person that you're dealing with, because sometimes you may get someone who's manipulating. Sometimes you may get somebody who's a narcissist, or somebody who tries to turn it around or flip it on you, or play victim. You may have those people, but you have to learn how to decipher who is who and how to deal with people. With those kind of people, you may have to put your foot down and go off on them. But once you do that, let that anger go and then walk away. Because that's where we mess up at. Sometimes we'll get angry, we'll go off, we'll act a fool, and then we'll continue to stay around and argue about it. Continue to go back and forth. Continue to try to work and fix it. No. If you know there is no change or healing within that person at that given time, you say what's needed to be said and you walk away. Because sometimes everything does not respond well to a nice approach. Sometimes you have to be the bad guy in order to, have your sake of peace. Because some people are not going to respect you. Some people are not going to, let up. But that's when you have to just say, you know what, this is how it's going to be. And if you can't respect that, then oh well, and you walk away. But because, do not let anybody treat you, like crap. Don't let anybody disrespect you Don't let anybody run over you and you not have a say in how you feel about that. Because sometimes people do need a consequence, a consequence discussion. Like, hey, I'm putting my foot down. You are not going to use me as your doormat. You will respect me. Because sometimes people don't respect you until you demand your respect. And that's sad. Because naturally, you should respect people. But hey, for a normal situation, you guys can sit down and talk. You guys could take a better approach, be forgiving. And if you do have a person who is able to, have a mature conversation with you, a person who is able to actually sit down and have a, discussion about what's going on, and a person who can take responsibility to their faults and what they have done to you, then you do. Yeah, that's when you can take a mature approach to it. That's when you can, apologize and talk to each other. Don't always expect just an apology, from them. If you guys both played a part, be the bigger person and you apologize as well. Y'all apologize to each other and then come together to make an agreement on, how things should go from now on. Some people don't like to do that. People get to a point to where they want to, one up each other and have the upper hand, but there's no point in that. Because it's just going to keep going on. The conflict is going to keep going. So we gotta, we just have to make better decisions, have better discernment, depending on the people and the situation. All right, so it says, when calm, address the issue by talking about it. Don't yell, don't argue, and don't take anything too personal. Because that's another thing that could set everybody off. Everybody's taking whatever happened to them a little. You should take it personal, but don't take it too personal to where it's, bringing back that pain, causing you to cry, causing you to be angry and lash out. Sometimes we have to, like I said, take a step back. Take a step back and breathe. Think about what you're doing. Don't make the situation worse. So we must learn how to discipline ourselves from overreacting. Ask ourselves, is it that serious? Is it worth our health? Is it worth raising our blood pressure over? Because you know how we get when we get mad, our blood pressure's all over the place. We're screaming, we're yelling, we're crying, just doing too much. Don't allow it to get that far. And if you have allowed it to get that far, like I said, once you do that, take a step back and do not continue on with it. Release it. Let it go. Let it go. You said what you had to say. If that's what you needed to say and it was the truth, then you say what you have to say and you leave it alone. We leave it alone. A lot of the times, our ego is the problem. Like I said, we always want to have the upper hand or one up each other. There's no point in doing that. If you know you are in the right, say what you need to say and walk away. We always have the need to be correct or play victim when how we feel is in fact our own problem. That may be a hard pill to swallow. How you feel is your own problem. We love to say somebody made us mad or somebody made us cry. Yeah, people may have done us wrong, but how you feel about it is your fault and your problem. We may be hurt by it, but it's your fault that you let it hurt you. It's your fault that you let this person get to you. It's just our fault. When we allow people to disrupt our energy, when we allow people to invade our peaceful space and our peaceful mindset, and we allow ourselves to get more upset than we should, that is our fault. It sucks, but that is our fault because we are so quick to want to blame somebody else for what happened and how we feel. But guess what? It's our fault for allowing that. It's our fault when we know that that person is no good, when we know that person is just who they are, or if we know that person is not healed within themselves. And we know that for a fact, but we still allow them to hurt us. That is our fault. We cannot blame others for how we feel. How we feel or react is our personal problem. We tend to close ourselves off from being open to learn new things. Controlling how we feel and acknowledging that things will not always go our way will bring more peace to the human mind. So sometimes we have to just see like, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, things won't always go our way, but hey, accept that and move on. Don't hold on to it. Do not hold on to it because that's where we mess up. Refusing to accept what is. We can't change anybody. We can't change anything. We can't change no event. All we can do is change what we can change and leave whatever we can't change to God. Learning to let go and being mindful of what's really going on inside of you can help ease a lot of tension. Our emotions not only run off of our minds, but they also run off of our hearts as well. That's why it is good to not take things so personal. Say, for instance, you find yourself arguing with somebody and you both are just going back and forth. What is this solving? Absolutely nothing. But when we as civilized people actually sit down and talk to one another and listen to what each other is saying, we both get heard out. So, like I said, if you and the other person are mature enough to have a mature conversation where you guys can be quiet when each other is talking and actually listen and adhere to what one is saying to each other, then that's when things can be healed. But when you're trying to one up each other and not hear each other out and just trying to get your point across, that's when you guys go nowhere. So hear each other on what needs to be solved. Have compassion for one another and let go of the need to be right. Learn from each other, because our memories of what we think has happened may not always be what seems. So what I mean by that when I say that is, all of us have different perspectives of what happened to us or how a situation went. Somebody may see it one way, you may have seen it another way. They may have felt this way, may have felt another way. But either way, you both have different perspectives about it. And you're going off of what you guys felt really happened. So what we think has happened may not always be what it seems. We all have different points of views. Anger is one of the strongest emotions we possess, and it can easily branch into other emotions as well that surround it. Naturally, we have to deal with emotions, but as our own people, we have to look deep inside of ourselves and figure out what it really is and what's causing the emotions. And why do we lash out in such defense? Many of us expect others to know what's wrong with us. And when they do not know it, it intensifies our emotions even more. Ask for what it is that we need. Don't assume that they already know it or what to do about it. Work on communicating together as a team to find a proper solution. So communication is very important. Communicate to each other how you feel. Communicate to each other what you need from each other. Communicate. We all expect for somebody else to know exactly what we need or what we want from them or what we expect from them. But we don't tell them. We just expect them to know just because they know us. No, because people don't just know what you want or what you need as an individual person. I personally don't know what you went through, so I don't know what you need from me. If you don't communicate to me what you need me to do for you, I don't know what to do for you. You see what I'm saying? You see how I'm explaining that? So like I said, work on communicating together as a team to find a proper solution to get past the problem. These situations are common amongst people, especially in relationships. Just because you have been together for a long time does not mean you know everything about each other. Emotional management is a process in which we should practice daily. Learning how to, manage our emotions, learning how to decipher what's worth retaliating to, learning how to, become stronger within managing our emotions. Okay, it's very important that we learn how to control our emotions. It's very important. Okay? And this is something we should do every day because every day is a different emotion. So what you tell yourself can either increase the emotion or help it to die down. It's up to where your headspace truly is. When you tell yourself negative things, expect a negative outcome. And when you tell yourself positive things, expect a positive outcome. Okay? We have to realize our words hold power. Our thoughts hold power. That is real manifestation. Whatever you put out into the universe, so be it. Okay? What goes up must come down. That's just how it is. Okay? Whatever there is to come will always play out in your thoughts before it does in reality. So control your reality, because your thoughts are more powerful than you think they are. Your emotions can also be affected by how your body feels physically. So make sure you're not lashing out due to a physical reason going on inside of your body. Do y'all not know that not only can your emotional health affect you, but your physical health can also affect your emotional health and your mental state of mind, because they work together. How you feel on the inside can definitely, have a effect on how you react to things, how you are throughout the day. You know how you run across somebody who hasn't had enough sleep, or somebody who's sick and doesn't feel good. Are they in the best of spirits? No, they're probably telling you to get away from them and leave them alone. It's just, that's how it is. But, some people don't care to ask if other people are okay. They just go back off on them like, well, F you too. Well, forget you too. Stuff like that. Just, how about ask the person, are you okay today? You seem a little on edge. You have an attitude. What is your problem? Make sure people are okay. Being sick, hungry, tired, irritable, or having off hormones can easily cause a person to be moody, right? So say, for example, like I just told you guys, here's another one. Women, for that time of the month, how do y'all feel? You feel horrible because your hormones are off. You feel bad because you're moody, you're not in the mood, you don't want to deal with anything. That's something internal affecting your emotional state of mind. So make sure you are okay inside, because our body can definitely be a cause to make us feel emotional. Find outlets or ways to satisfy your body's needs. Our bodies are in sync with our minds. So therefore, however our body feels negatively, our minds will then start to create negative feedback towards it. Recognize it, then work on it. Work on solving it rather than using emotion to create a larger issue or problem. Okay? Now, as the other person getting lashed out at, take a moment to become compassionate and realize it's not you, and that there's a bigger issue with them. Okay? So as the other person, like I said, ask them if they're okay. Don't always assume they're just, having an attitude with you or something. See if they're okay. because that person probably has a very low tolerance to deal with people for whatever reason. Their energy is low. They're vibrating low for some reason. Okay? So realize that it is not you and that there's a bigger issue with them. Don't argue with them. Don't agitate them. Don't make them more mad than they already are. Okay? Find out what's wrong and try to help them. Because, like I said, arguing will only make it worse, right? Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they don't feel good. Maybe they are possibly hurting. They could be in some kind of pain. As some of us know, a lot of us don't have high tolerance to pain. I am one of those people. When I am in pain, I want people to stay away from me like a wounded animal. I'm like, get away from me. I do not like to be in pain, and I do not like to be around people when I am in pain. So this definitely is a good example. I knew. So whatever the case is, have compassion towards the whole situation. Just, if you have to just walk away from them and give them a minute, do so. Everybody is so quick to jump to conclusions and create an even bigger turmoil. We cannot let our emotions get the best of us. It's not worth it. It may be an uncomfortable situation, but it'll pass, right? And you'll also feel better about it through time. As I've said before, this is a process, and we must practice at being in control of ourselves. Practice how to manage our emotions and practice how we should deal with or solve them. The more we do this, the stronger we become and the less we struggle with management, right? Breathing exercises can really help to ease the tension and calm the nerves. Any kind of meditation practice, talking to someone, or even finding a relaxing activity to get into to clear the mind can be helpful as well. Master these emotional management skills and watch how easier it becomes. You'll start to feel like some kind of sensei. You'll become unbothered by things that would usually stress you out, and you'll take full control over oneself. Exercise those peaceful habits, reverse those behaviors, and continue to improve those patterns. Our change in perception will help us out so much throughout life. We'll become less defensive, more compassionate, less agitated, and a lot calmer and accepting. I've noticed that when I just take a step back to examine things before reacting, I gain way more insight. If I'm calm, I can actually think and examine the whole picture. But while I'm upset, my mind does not give me that chance to do those things. It's like going back to the drawing board. I take the time to look at everything over and figure out the situation and the solution. Some things may in fact be more difficult than others because that just means some may acquire more detail and work within. If we want peace in our lives and within ourselves, we have to invite it in, which means we have to be open to receiving. When we learn to ground ourselves in love and kindness, that's the energy we will start to give off and exert. Even if things do not turn out the way we want them to, tell yourself that it is definitely okay. And then have patience and faith. Remember, faith is believing before seeing. It's not unusual to be disappointed, of course, and saddened by certain results. But know that in the end, as usual, things will work themselves out for the better. So that's the end of chapter 8. I hope this guides, really helped you out. I hope this was something to where you can understand it, and also to where you guys can practice this, ways of emotional management every day. I hope this encourages you guys. And as always, I love you guys so much. And all I want is the best for everybody. But I don't want us to, always be to a point to where we're too loving and too giving to where we get taken advantage of. But definitely know how to still have compassion. Definitely still know how to be considerate and be kind to other people. Okay, put your foot down when it's needed. And then be compassionate when you have to. Okay? So use light and dark together. Make sure you're balanced within. Okay? We just have to learn how to have balance within ourselves, within our emotions, within our mental state, okay, within our physical state. So I hope this helped you guys, like I said. And again, I will be doing videos and podcasts. So whatever you don't catch on here, you can find on the podcast. And whatever you don't catch on the podcast, you can find on the channel. Like I said, I won't leave you guys out, and I'll always keep you guys updated, in tune, and definitely woke. So stay tuned, and I will have another video and podcast out for you guys. Okay? So if you like that, continue to stay tuned in and continue to follow. Everything you need will be in the description. And if you feel like donating to any of my channels or podcasts, go ahead and do so. All the information will be in the description. Love you guys. And thank you for tuning in to Luminous's Intuitive Talks. Bye.